Now, as Jimmy knows, I went to high school in Detroit. I'm from Western New York originally, Buffalo. And Jimmy, I learned to skate before I learned to walk.
Well, I believe that.
So
That's a
we
tough
are
thing
going
to
to
do
talk
too.
we're going to talk about hockey. Now,
Yeah.
let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
The Boston Bruins went to 7 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, if you don't
Mhm.
know, the Maple Leafs are stacked. They're like they're the team. They're the superstar team.
Oh
They've
yeah. I
got
played in
four.
Toronto.
Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs have got the stars, right? Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews and William Nylander and John Tavares, and it's kind of like a little bit younger version of the Clippers, right? They got all the stars,
Mhm.
and you know they got beat in overtime by the Boston Bruins. Um, and David Pasternak, right there, scored the game winning goal to win the game and take them to the next round. Um, Here's my question. Are you impressed by David beating Goliath in moving on to the next round? Or is this just kind of what happens?
I'm always impressed by watching hockey, watching guys skate that fast on ice. You know what hockey is to me? Hockey is basketball on ice. I love how the
It is.
players can spin, like do a 360. It's like a spin dribble. They dribble in between the legs with the puck, and they stop on a dime. They do crossovers. It's beautiful watching the sport. And yes, it was very impressive for the Bruins to beat such a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know how great of a team they are. I lived in Detroit most of my life, 30 plus years. I played in Toronto. I'm familiar with the game of hockey and how important it is
I'm
and
sure
how
you
tough
went
of
to
a
a
sport
few
it is.
Red Wings games when when we went to the
Now
Joe a
listen to
couple
this.
times.
This is after saying all of that, I've only been to 2 hockey games in
What?
my life. The first hockey game I ever went to was at Little Caesars Arena when it first opened. The very first Red Wings game,
The new
the
arena.
new arena.
I've never been there. I've only been to the
And
Joe, bro.
yeah, and so that was the first one that I went to live. And as great as a hockey team that we had at University of Michigan, I never went to Yost Arena for a hockey game. Never got a chance to see them live.
That's
But
amazing, Jimmy, because when you lived in Detroit, the Red Wings
oh
were
yeah,
one of the
oh
greatest franchises in history
oh yeah, we
with
had
Fedorov
Lindstrom.
and
Oh yeah,
Yzerman and Brett Hall and
Eiserman,
all
that's
those
right.
guys.
Yeah, we had the crew, and they were kicking ass like that whole like 12-year span. But what's funny about that is I spent a lot of time with those guys on the golf course. So
I was gonna say, and I had a buddy who was, or I should say, I had a friend who was friends with Fedorov and owned a bar in Pontiac. So I spent a lot of time with those guys as well.
oh
Not
yeah,
on the golf course, Jimmy, in the VIP lounge.
oh yeah.
And there's some stories I got for you,
Oh,
bro.
I know. We got to share some stories one day. I got some stories too we could share.
I'd be willing to tell on air the story of when I got in a fight with Bobby Higginson.
That's awesome.
I think that was a great story.
That's
First
awesome.
of all, the
I got
guy
some
is
stories
about
too.
5'6".
Yeah. We going there, huh? I got some stories with Shaq. Um, let's see who else. Yeah, I got some funny stories.
Jimmy, you're 5'6" to Shaq.
Correct. That's why I mentioned it. Can you imagine me just standing there looking at Shaq like what's up,
Well,
guy?
Jimmy,